like a vision you couldn't see clear, yeah. And now life's a conversation. You bet it's only one side of love. I hear you saying.
We just arrived at the H Urban Hotel in Penang from the airport. The plane was 5 hours late, so it's a great start, straight off. The hotel seems really nice. It's right in the middle of Georgetown, which is the old colonial part of Penang. And just for interest, coming in, Australians don't need a visa. You can stay for 90 days without a visa. We got Grab, which is like Uber, but in Asia. And it was about 26 ringgits to get here, which is about $5, you know, it's not a lot. So anyway, it's pretty good. You know, maybe it's a little bit more than that. It's 33, so it's about $8 to get here. It's about 16 kilometers into town, and it's now about 11 o'clock at night, and the streets are still busy. So it's been really good, and we're looking forward to tomorrow. The new adventure awaits. We're on our first walk, our first morning in Penang, and we've just come from Bali, and let me tell you, it's a lot hotter, a lot more humid here, and you can tell the wet season has just started, although the rains haven't broken yet. Our first impressions are, like, this used to be run by the British, and you can sort of see all these old mansions, and this is an old hotel that the British would have built, and you can see the Indian influence in there as well, because the British would have been colonizing India at the same time, and it's overlooking the water, and right next to it there's this massive hotel which is attached to this hotel. So that's kind of what we're seeing so far, a collection of old colonial buildings juxtaposed next to really modern ones, sometimes built in the style like the mansion style. So the bottom part looks like a mansion, but they're quite tall. Anyway, it seems really nice, very walkable, very hot and very humid, and the ocean's right here, and the ocean isn't it's owned by the establishments or the residences, so you can't really walk along it. We sort of cut along and walked along the seawall, but we're going to have to go back to the street because it's not designed to walk along like the esplanades that you may be used to in Europe. Doesn't matter where you go, what part of the world you are, the Kraken can always find a Starbucks. The coffee addiction runs strong with her. We're still trying to find a promenade to walk along the water, hold hands and whisper sweet nothings to the Kraken. She like wants to drag people to their depths. And we've just walked down here. It looks like on the map there's a promenade, and there used to be, but now it looks like it ends, and it only goes for about 40 meters. There's a whole lot of street stalls and stuff, which is kind of cool. But of course we stopped at, because we're the ultimate tourists, we stopped at Starbucks beforehand. So no street food for us. And you know, it's beautiful, and it's very warm and muggy. We're at Fort Cornwallis, which is a substantial fort with low brick walls. That looks like it used to be moated because there's still parts of the moat that are still there. It's also got a lighthouse that was built back in like 1880 inside the fort walls, and also a very impressive signal mast. Yeah, very impressive. Looks like it came off an old steel square-rigged ship. You have to pay to get in, and all the reviews says there's nothing to see inside really. The fort walls that are closest to the ocean have old cannons, but they're all a mixture of cannons from 24 pounders to long 8s. And but it's very beautiful from the outside, and the Malaysian naval base is just across the road, but it's just really officers' quarters. So it's worth walking down. There's a park next door as well, so it's quite nice, a bit of greenery in a green city.
So look out for the chickens and the roosters around the corner at the base of the fort wall. They are super cute. You really need to watch your footing when you're walking around here, because the drains are huge, because the rain is huge.
When I went to Singapore and Kuala Lumpur and Bangkok and everything, like 35 years ago, this is what it was like. All these low sort of crumbling buildings, all colonial buildings. Any high rises were very small, like 5-6 stories high.
Okay.
And, you know, really the colonial infrastructure dominated the environment. And now, you know, there's still some of this left. There's still remnants of these areas left. Even in Singapore, there's still remnants. But they're more tourist attractions now rather than the fabric and body of the city. Indian vegetarian, yes. And now we know why I'm fat and PJ's not. This was $3. This was $3 all up. So we just had lunch in like a tourist area. We had vegetarian, Indian vegetarian, and I had a full thal, and PJ had 2 dishes, and we had a large water, 1.5 litre water, and I had masala tea and PJ had black ginger tea. The bill came to 23 RM, which is about $7.50 Australian.
Okay.
So very reasonable, and we are in the tourist district.
So what you'll see here is that you've got a Little India area. There's also an Armenian street, but what we're going to show you next is the UNESCO World Heritage Area.
Should I ever tell them how I really feel? Should I ever tell them how I really feel? Should I ever tell them how I really feel? Should I ever tell them how I really feel?
Okay, just across the road from this there's a gaudy Indian temple, and across the road from this there's a Chinese, beautiful, serene sort of temple with a moon gate and an inner and outer courtyard. It's very pretty and very beautiful, but it shows you it must be a multicultural city back in the 1870s when both buildings were built.
This is apparently like a nutmeg tea, and it's a local fruit and it's really tasty. So give it a try.
We just ate our own weight in vegetarian food at a place called Vegetarian, and it's on Chinese. So it's a very authentic Chinese place, and there was only Chinese people in there except for us. It was fantastic. The meal cost about $30 with drinks for 2, and it was like sublime. It was just really good. So I had this thing called monkey fist mushrooms. It was fantastic. Then I had 2 servings of satay sticks, vegetable satay sticks, and I also had some fish mock meat. The fish mock meat was the least satisfying of the 3, but it was fantastic. It was like fantastic. I think PJ would agree. Yes. Okay, we've walked about, I don't know, 40 feet from that vegetarian restaurant, and there's this place, Urban Artistry, a plethora of happiness. Okay, so it's just treats. She won't let me have any. There's like this fantastic ice cream. Across the road there's a bakery, not allowed to have it. The Kraken's just sucking all the fun out. You know, I'm the fat man. I have to be allowed to eat.
Some of these old colonial buildings are just being like reabsorbed by nature. It's really cool.
After a couple of days in Penang, the Kraken strikes again. I woke up this morning with her fantastic plan to climb that mountain behind us and stay in some hotel up there. And we're not allowed to catch a bus because supposedly I'm swelling up like a balloon from all the good food in Penang. So we were eating like our own body weight every day in food. It's definitely a foodie paradise. This is a Buddhist temple, so I wouldn't like say the walk out of the city is much fun, but there is some interesting things to see along the way. We've just walked from Penang to the Botanical Gardens and we're at the Moon Gate Trail. So the trail goes from here at the base of the mountain to almost the top of the mountain to the top of the funicular, which is called Moon Gate Station 5. And you know, the walk here was not great, but there were some interesting bits when you're walking through old colonial mansions. So yeah, maybe it's worth doing. And there's quite a few temples on the way and things like that. So as you can see, PJ's about halfway here. She loaded me up with her bag because it's way too heavy for her to carry. And you know, the Kraken strikes again, so we're going to walk up the trail now.
This is really, really quite warm and humid. You really feel like you're in a jungle. Pretty hot and sweaty.
It's still like a graveyard, and it's steep, a lot of up, and it's so humid. It's like breathing liquid. Even the monkeys are lying down having a snooze as you pass them on the trail. They don't move, they don't murmur. They're just like, it's too bloody hot. And I've got to agree with them.
There's more than 700 meters of up, over a bit over 5 kilometers of this section of the trail. So good times. We're going up to the top of Penang Hill, and that's where we can take the funicular down and then walk to the hotel. Bit frayed. The rope's a bit frayed.
I'm not that heavy.
You gotta get underneath the loggy. There's another rope beside you.
Come for a short hike, she said. It'll be fun, she said.
Walk in the park.
Look up there.
Yes.
This morning when we woke up, PJ started moving all the heavy stuff into my bag. which, you know, I didn't complain too much because, you know, she's feeling a bit off. So anyway, then halfway to the mountain, I got her bag to carry. So I had the 2 bags. But then she stopped and got a juice and a coffee. And so she's been carrying the coffee. She drank the juice, she's been carrying the coffee, drinking that. Then I finished 1 little bottle of water. Then she poured the coffee into the bottle and then put both cups in my bag. Plus, now I get to carry the coffee as well because she said it was annoying having to carry the coffee. Well, I'm carrying 2 bags and everything we own. You know, and then she got mad at me for walking too quickly. It's like so annoying.
Poor Charlie. But yes, I'm very grateful.
Oh, it doesn't sound like
I'm very grateful that he's carrying all the bags. But this is all our luggage, right? So these 2 bags you've got, see there's a bag, and there's a bag on his back. Like, that's it. That's our luggage that we're taking with us to the new hotel, and that's what we'll have for the next couple of months. So, you know, I don't think it's a lot of luggage. But,
until you got to carry it.
Until you got to carry it, and then, yeah, it's like way too heavy.
Up a bloody cliff.
Yeah. Anyway, the walk I think is going pretty well. As you can see, it's like very humid and very tropical. You're brave. Oh no!
We may have to try that again without the bag.
You okay?
Yeah.
Okay, take 2. Man versus hammock. Success! Give us a thumbs up, Charlie.
Very comfortable. The Kraken bullshitted me. So now we've got to Moon Station 5, which is not the funicular. I now find out I got another 5 kilometers to walk. She's a horrible, horrible, horrible harridan and harpy. And she just, you know, loves making my life a misery.
There are toilets at Moon Station 5. Hello, Ducky. Moongate Station 5 is a little bit eerie. So behind me is the half falling rock waypoint, and we've got about, or just under 4 kilometers to go. Hey Charlie.
Yeah, what?
Are you feeling a bit like rooted?
A little bit rooted.
As we'd say in Australia. I don't know if you can hear this, but there's thunder in the background, and we had a little rain shower, but we can hear a storm rolling in. there's a temple in the bottom of the valley, and you might see people praying there, so just be quiet, and you'll smell incense all across the valley. You'll see smoke as well. It's really cool.
We've just arrived at Penang Hill Station 84, and let me tell you, I'm glad, although we still got kilometres to go. It's been difficult walking, very slippery and steep. So the only way this could be worse was on a bike, because I have to push the bike as well.
Yeah, it's pretty steep. You can't see in the video, it doesn't show how steep it is, but just believe us, it's steep. We're heading down to the funicular, and we just met a couple of lovely Kiwis that used to live in Ireland, so that was very fun. And as of now, you still have to wear a face mask if you want to be able to use this service to go up the mountain or to go down. When we reach the bottom, we'll be about 1 kilometre from our hotel, and we'll walk the rest of the way. So here we go. Oh, poor Charlie.
Well, today was the return of a classic Kraken day. You know, the Kraken had a revenge. So we've been having it easy for months, you know, with visiting Australia. Then we had a diving holiday in Bali. Absolutely no activity. Fitness just gone to pot. And the Kraken says, okay, let's do 10 kilometres directly uphill. And I don't want to carry my bag, so you can carry my bag over the most broken ass tracks you've ever seen in your life. You know, she carried a bag for maybe 50 metres on this really treacherous bit and twisted her ankle, you know, so then immediately handed the bag back to me and said, you carry it. And now we're staying in like an office hotel in the middle of nowhere. So but she's like...
It's at the bottom of the funicular.
It's at the bottom of the funicular, which supposedly answers all questions, right? The funicular was pretty cool. And it costs about 15 ringgit to catch it as an adult. There's a cheaper price for children, and there's another cheaper price for locals, which is only fair and reasonable. So, and then we walked to this hotel called The View through the suburb at the bottom, which was quite interesting. And it's just a bog standard businessman's hotel, which you could rent anywhere in the world. So has no sort of interest or...
Epic fail.
Yeah, I would suggest it's a classic Kraken day. Somehow this all turned around. That was all my fault in the end, you know. She's a, you know, It's all, and she just kept on saying, "Oh, I thought you'd like this. I thought you'd like this," as you'd like, you're hanging on for dear life to some rope before you plummet to your death, with her bag strapped to the front of you.
If any of you have seen our footage of Charlie's hiking adventure in Turkey, where he was clinging to, the side of sea cliffs for grim death, you will know that this is the sort of thing that I thought he would like. I had a lovely time today, probably because it was my idea. I thought, well, why take the bus? Let's just hike over the top of the mountain, catch the funicular down, and then stay at a hotel on the other side.
And not carry your bag.
Winning at life. And yeah, I was assuming I wasn't going to carry my bag. But so...
And the humidity wasn't going to be 1,000%.
It's definitely not something to take lightly. I think I mentioned earlier the YouTubers who say that hiking Penang Hill is easy. You are horrible people, and you really led us astray. I'll tag some of those YouTubers in the description. Thank you for joining us.
25,
See you next time.